Me. I am a memoir. I said a memoir. The meaning of Mariah Carey.
Hello, Lamely! Welcome to, oh my God, a bonus episode after only one chapter.
Couldn't help ourselves.
We couldn't help ourselves. Well, we did get the entire origin of Charmbracelet in the last chapter, so we have to take a detour into what is probably going to be a DP of Charmbracelet. Because
We like to warn.
We do like to warn. I forgot how many songs there were on this album. Like, it is chock-a-block of
And bonus
music.
track.
And plus we've got some bonus tracks to get through. So yeah, we this will probably be the first of hopefully only two, but maybe many. We are going to be listening to Charmbracelet, as they say in France. They don't say that. Charmbracelet.
Oh my God.
Or the Charming Bangles.
Oh my God. We should do
Charmed
Bangles
Bangles.
podcast.
Let's not. We're listening to Charmbracelet, Mariah Carey's album, which comes in between The Glitter and The Big One. And like Rainbow, I believe it was recorded a lot in Capri, the Isle of Capri, because she talked about that in the
loves a
book.
little Capri.
Yes, she loves the Capri. She went there with Cameron and the purple. So with these podcasts, we do just jump straight on in to breaking it on down.
Yeah. No courtesy finger. Just in it goes.
Don't knock at the back door. Let someone know you're coming in. Sorry, it's more ringing the bell.
Ding dong.
Ring,
Mostly dong. Okay, we can do this. It's
Break it on down.
All
Oh
right.
my God.
Bring me on down.
So, Charmbracelet, released December 3rd, 2002.
I remember
It was
it well.
a US... You do? It was
Yeah.
a US number 3, Australia number 42. What were we thinking?
We had no idea.
And there's not a whole lot of lore, as in Lore, around this album. So we're just going straight to the first song, which is Through the Rain, written by Mariah and Lionel Cole. That was a US number 81. Ooh, that hurts.
Really? I did not know
Yeah.
that. I thought it was bigger.
It's-
I remember she
Right?
sang it on Oprah.
The US charts are funny. They can be like the number 1 on the dance chart, but not hit the 200. It's very strange.
Yeah.
But an Australian number 15. So we were, we were still.
We
what were
liked
thinking?
it better.
But
We were
did like
into.
it better.
We still liked a Mariah ballad.
That's it. We were ready to move on. We were in the future, so that's how that happened.
Yes.
One thing about this song that you mentioned in our last episode was the production. So I was paying attention to this as I
Yes.
listened. I don't know whether it was because I was listening on headphones and everything sounded lovely, but I thought it sounded fine. And I'm a hard marker. We know this.
It sounds fine. Like, I'm not saying it's a terrible production. I just think her vocals are so big and so rich that I feel like it struggles to catch up. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
that's all songs, really.
I know, but
one
sometimes
can
she can get drowned out by the production, and sometimes it's in perfect sync. Like, but like just like a song like My All, where it is just the perfect synchronicity of production and vocal, and it is just amazing. But there's just something kind of lacking in it, and I don't know what it is. It just feels a little bit. Yeah, she's had
I will say,
better produced ballads.
up until now, and I can't pinpoint what they are anymore because I just sort of kept going along until we got to Through the Rain. But
Yeah.
there are other songs that remind me of Through the Rain.
Yes.
And every time I heard them, I was like, I want it to be Through the Rain, but it's not. Just
Yeah.
little moments. So maybe for me, it's because it's almost a reverse of what your experience was,
Yeah.
where you would have heard those songs first, whereas I heard them
After. Right.
After.
So, yeah.
But there is a...
Her voice is so good. Like, just like the storytelling in this song is perfect. Like, you know, she just really belts it. She goes for it. And like, it's up high and it's loud and it's belty and it's perfect Mariah. And I just think some parts of the production are just not keeping up with it.
I mean, that's fair enough. I definitely feel like, you know, the clouds learned their lesson.
Yes.
But Mariah, I'm here. You hold that back now. But we do have a video before we continue that I have a little poshnopsis for.
Poshnopsis, a poshnopsis, a poshnopsis.
Okay.
Singing your
Mariah's,
favorite
are you
song.
ready? Okay. Mariah's photo album has its own hair fan and blows open to reveal the most acting-y acting that's ever been acted. There's a white woman yelling at Jamie Lynn Sigler, who upon seeing I screamed, "Is that Stacey Orico?" And now I'm sad that it wasn't. Stacey goes to walk out when the white woman says, "I did the best that I could." And Stacey's charm bracelet, get it, falls to the floor, and it's the worst thing that's ever happened.
Yeah.
She tells Patricia, the white woman, that she hates her and then jumps into a taxi. Now Mariah is here with butterfly earrings and a butterfly on her jeans. Now Stacey Lynn Sigler is on the back of a bike, but she's wearing the wrong hat. She's definitely going to die. It wasn't a helmet. It was just like a top hat. She muddled that up. We get some Law and Order shots, and wouldn't you know it starts to rain.
Yeah.
Stacey Lynn Sigler silently but violently mouths "I love you" into bikey boyfriend's ear. And what is with this video editing of the song? It's different. Me very confused. So now Mariah, not unlike myself, is very wet. Stacey Lynn Sigler goes to bikey boyfriend's house, and I guess her parents are sad. Don't know. Now they're getting on a bus, and Patricia is like, "Nah, babes," but like super dramatically.
Yeah.
Mariah is still singing in the rain, and she's hitting the high notes, which I could tell because her mouth is open very wide. Now she's at a church. And she's dry. I guess Stacey and Bikey Boyfriend got their own place, but now they're like super old in church, and they're crying because they can't understand how they've aged 60 years, but Mariah looks exactly the same. Then Mariah rubs her wrist. This is just a stream of consciousness, by the way. Okay. I write it and then never look back. Then Mariah rubs her wrist and is like, "OMG, wow, I guess I have your magic charm bracelet, and that's why I look so amazing. And this is actually your funeral. Bye." Now, I know that there's probably evidence that Stacey Lynn Sigler and Bikey Boyfriend are Patricia and Alfred Roy, and that the white woman was white grandma, but those allegations are baseless, and what I said is actually correct.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know that story.
It's quite some HBO heavy hitters in this video clip. You've got Meadow from The Sopranos and old mate from The Wire. And I was
was that Bikey Boyfriend?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like,
I honest to God, it was like, oh, it's Stacey Orico. And once I had that in my head,
yep,
there was no turning back.
You couldn't get it out. I love this video. I think it was expensive.
I mean, videos of the late 90s, early 2000s, money.
Yeah, like this one looks pricey. Like it's... Yeah. There's they turned the hose on Mariah and a whole city block.
And rain is not easy to get on film, so it's a lot of water going on. But yeah, I mean, I suppose Mariah probably just had a word to the man above.
Yeah.
And was like, "You know what, can you do us a solid?
Do us the solid, I got to get my hair wet. But in the most stylish and beautiful way possible."
Yeah.
And then I'm going to church.
You'll know because I'll be hitting the high notes at the same time. It'll be a whole moment, darling.
I do. I love this video. It's so cute. But I love this song. I just, it's. I don't want you to think I hate the song. I just want it to be even better than it is.
I think, yeah. Why can't it be perfecter? No, yes. I think it's because I am the hard marker, and I've been doing a lot around production, so I'm really paying attention to these things, and I'm pretty quick to say that could have been better. But I didn't in the production. I didn't hear it. But now that you've sort of clarified more about, it's not so much her. It's sort of she's out overpowering it, I'll have another listen. And
Yeah, it's just more, I just want, I just kind of want, like, the lushness of the production on Never Too Far. Like that's, I feel like that is the most perfectly produced Mariah song, but I don't think it's her best ballad.
Okay.
But it's just like, the soaring strings and the big moments are all kind of perfectly in sync. But I just think if they'd basically gone, let's just remake Never Too Far, but with this better melody.
And I mean, you know what? Now that we're talking about it, there is a song later on where I was sitting there going, oh, this would be so much better if.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that. But
yeah.
I will say that the other thing about this song, we won't sort of open up too much until we get to the other possible first single. But what I wrote about this was I did feel like it was a statement after Glitter.
Yes.
Like
it's very much a statement after Glitter.
Letting you know, which I think is one of the strengths of this album, is a lot of Mariah's lyrics do feel present.
Yeah.
Like she's not sort of really glossing over a lot. It's just like, no, that's the thing. And so
for someone who's written so many incredible lyrics already, it feels like her songwriting in the lyrical sense has really stepped up a notch.
Yeah.
For this album. Like, I feel like...
And she had a break. Like, there was time to think.
Yeah, this wasn't a rushed album.
No, and I don't know if the production of it was a long time, but at the very least, she would have had time writing words. So, look, I haven't quite gone Infinity. I've gone for a 4.75 out of 5.
In spite of my many reservations, this gets Wetfinity.
I could see you nearly say Rainfinity, and then you're like, no, I'm soaked.
Wetfinity. Because it is a song that I come back to a lot. It's a song that I, sing around the house all the time. It's just one of those songs that I really enjoy. As I think I like it as much as Mariah's theme, as far as
Oh, that's a big one for you.
Yeah, it's something I would go back to because the lyrical content and the power of her vocals are just so kind of spot on, and it feels like it does feel quite personal. And yeah, I do actually love it, which is why I think I'm really critical of the plinky plonky business at the start, because I'm like, I just want it to be fuller. I just want it to be a fuller, richer sound, because like her voice is doing so much of the heavy lifting in this song, which is what you want because it's a Mariah song. But it's like for a lead single, for a big ballad, I just wanted more from it. The remixes are great. Like there is a remix.
Yeah, I stayed away because we'll get there.
There is a remix of this, which is just like, I think she does the key change about 32 times. Like it just keeps going. They just keep replaying it.
I did feel, what did I write about that? I think I did say that the key change felt earned, it made sense.
Yeah.
Like I approve of the key change because as we know, sometimes I don't.
Sometimes you don't. But yeah, this one. And she just like, she hits it hard. And it is like one of those, it's a big moment and it's beautiful and I love it. But yeah, I just want it to be an even better song. I just want it to go, I want to go back in time, fix the production and get it up there to number 1 where it deserves to be.
Is it Mariah's first lead ballad?
I think it is, yeah, because she's normally led with a poppy kind of.
Because I know Vision of Love is slower, but I wouldn't say ballad.
Yeah, it's kind of like a slow
traditional
jam,
sense.
but it's not. I think since that became the thing, since Emotions, every album really had a big bouncy.
Yeah, and she was big. I think that's part of why she feels it didn't succeed as well because it wasn't happy enough. But I'm like, no, I think it might have just been a timing thing. It could be anything.
And I think
I don't mind a ballad to lead.
And I like the statement it makes, like you were saying. It says, yeah. I've had some shit go on in the media.
Yeah,
and with my family.
Yeah.
But I will be fine because I'll
tell you about it in my book in a couple of years.
I will write about this one day, and you will all know. You will all go, Mariah.
They were not Kath Kim. What were they thinking?
You were not having wine time at that spa.
They did not do the best that they could.
They did not do the best that they could.
They could have done way better. All right, are you ready for track 2?
Yes.
This is Boy I Need You, which is a first listen for me.
Oh, really?
It
I'm
is
so
a lot of
excited
these
for you.
songs are, yeah.
How did you
so
feel about
this
Cameron
one-
and his purple guesting?
I don't know, it's just real mellow, you know. Yeah, what did I even write? There's some features on this, so I kind of forget everything already. But Boy I Need You, feat Cameron, written by Mariah, Just Blaze, Norman Whitfield, and Cameron, which samples "I'm Going Down" by Rose Royce, which was covered by Mary J. Blige, which is how I know
I'm
it.
going down.
So good.
Oh, such
and
a
is
good song.
also a remake of Cameron's song "Oh Boy," which is where some of the sample kind of comes in slightly.
Yes.
This did not chart in the US, but it did get to number 29 in Australia. I did not know this. I don't remember this song.
We love this song.
So apparently we did. And we did have a video. So you
The
ready?
video is hot shit.
I mean, I don't think they were taking purple. I think they were taking something else when they did this video. All right.
Except for Bianca. She didn't do that.
No. So Mariah is shrunk down and living in a Lego city. Cameron is on the phone. Some banging dude is getting gnarly with a sword, and I guess Godzilla is tearing down Legoville. Mariah is getting dolled up by actual dolls. She's still wearing the Charmbracelet of youth. She gets one of her dogs, then walks to the office, whatever that is, where heaps of basic bitches are doing math or whatever. Mariah is followed by butterflies and sips of juicy juice. Sword Dude is a spy, and there's a fairly terrifying little girl fairy. Honest to God, scared the shit out of me. Mariah is in a vocal booth, but 7 meters away from the mic because she doesn't need it. Only regular people need microphones, even if they're not turned on.
Also, how is she able to sing in that room with those giant tape machines spinning around and making
It's
noise in the
I
background?
know. There's a lot happening. Did Sword Guy just get serviced at the urinal? Mariah drives her pretend car and races the only person worthy of going up against her, herself, aka Bianca, whose hair has gotten considerably worse while Mariah's has only flourished. Mariah 100% murders Bianca and is happy. Cameron rocks up, and I legitimately have no fucking idea what's happening at this point, but they're at Time Zone. Now they're at Sushi Bar. Sword Guy and other Sword Guy decide to play Xena on the roof, and suddenly it's the end of the video. Am I on mushrooms?
Yep.
The end.
So clearly it's meant to be set in
Bonkers.
Japan, yes?
Yes, I did, because I actually looked at the language that was written, and I weirdly can recognize the difference between Japanese and Chinese, even though I can't read either of them.
And Korean. They're all very different, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, that's a Japanese shape right there, because they're more open.
Anyway, William Lee, who is Sword Guy, that gets service at the urinal.
Yeah, that was weird.
He's
That's
very-
some choices.
Very attractive. And Korean. So
Oh, God.
having fun times in Japan. He's obviously on holiday. Nothing problematic about being on
Yeah,
holiday
no.
in Tokyo.
He's on tour.
With Godzilla. What was going on with
I know.
what's going on with,
This was...
with Khloe Kardashian out there breathing fire and everything?
I know. This was, and I'm going to blank on his name right this second, but it was directed by the same man, Joseph Kahn, who did Toxic,
Yes.
a lot of big videos. And the
This
movie
also
Talk.
looks very expensive.
Yeah, and just absolutely batshit insane.
I love that.
Like, what was the treatment? Just colours on a wall? Like, we're doing that. And Mariah's like, hey, as long as my hair looks good and Bianca's doesn't.
Yeah. But that's a bold step for Mariah to go, I'm playing a bad person. I should have bad
Yeah,
hair.
I should have bad hair.
I'm happy to have unflattering
She's
hair
so
because
method.
I'm evil.
So method.
I've got method hair.
Oh my God.
Me, I am method hair.
Yeah. I wish that this wasn't an album version so we could call it that.
Me, I am method hair.
Method hair. So what I wrote about the song was "The Boy Is Mine." That's what I thought of when we first got the intro to this song.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, are we about to get a Brandy Monica, like, throwdown? What's happening here?
No.
Well, we kind of did in the race car. With the, they're fighting over, I don't know what they were fighting over. That's the problem.
They're just racing
Like-
the cars. They were fighting over the lane. on the freeway.
Yeah, it's my lane.
It's
You
only
get
one.
out of my lane.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a metaphor for other people who were in her lane at the time. I don't know.
Very
So-
much could have been. I want to
Could
look
have
regular.
been.
I am method hair and I'm regular. And I want to run
was
some regular
sitting-
people off the road.
She was sitting on a big cushion. So, look, it's funny. I saw a review of this song where they found the sample annoying, but I quite liked the sample of.
I love the sample. It's fun.
Yeah, and I sort of thought there, funnily enough, I thought there was a few moments that the production was a little lackluster, but I think it's very catchy, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed the feature on it, so I really can't complain.
Tell me if you think this sounds like a first draft of It's Like That.
Sort of. I definitely feel like since Rainbow, there's been a couple of moments of like, we're not quite, cooked the stew.
Yeah.
The collard greens aren't quite ready.
Yeah. I feel like it's fun. I like the wacky vocal processing, which is weird because, you go, oh my God, you're having vocal processing on a Mariah track? Like you're just inviting people to go, all of her vocals are processed and she can't actually sing like that. And it's almost like she's going, yeah, I dare you to say that. I've been fucking doing this for like 9 albums now. Just fuck off.
Yeah, that's like 7 months. I don't.
Yeah.
Season pro.
But yeah, I think it's...
What do you think?
I like it. It's fun. It's bouncy. Like that's the word I often use when I talk about the song. It feels like you're bouncing. It's like every time you hear the boy sample, it's like, woo, we're going up and down. It's just joyous and silly and fun and yeah. And I do wonder if this had been released first with the big push that Through the Rain got, that maybe, would this have been a hit or not?
Possibly. I mean, the video is insane. They probably would have, like, that could have made things worse.
Very possibly.
What is happening?
She walks her dog in the office and I love it.
And she doesn't even know what that is.
No.
Like,
I love that she's got a desk that she doesn't sit anywhere near. Like she sits on it,
I know.
perches near it.
That's how I should do the podcast from now on.
Perched near a desk.
Yeah. So I will say this is probably one from having now listened to the whole album, because I gave each song a score from first listen, but this is one that I remember.
Yes.
So I do feel like it'll probably, a lot of Mariah's songs, the ones that I remember, tend to grow on me.
Yeah.
But what is your score for Boy, I Need You?
By the way, speaking of the album, I think this is, like Glitter, one of her more cohesive albums where everything seems to have a place and everything really fits together.
Mm-hmm.
There's maybe one thumb that sticks out a little bit, but yeah, this one, it is one of those songs that, again, whenever I hear it, it makes me smile and it makes me happy, so it has to get Boyfinity.
I'm going to be the mean marker again, aren't I? Every time.
You're gonna have a 2, aren't you?
No, I gave it a 4.25.
4.2. That's huge for you. That's a 5.
Yeah, that's still
great.
good. It's still
Yeah.
good. Out of 5, it's quite high, darling.
Yeah.
Which brings us to The One, which is the first listen as well, written by Mariah, Brian Michael Cox, and Jamash.
Jamash. JD.
Now, this one didn't have a video. I was expecting it to.
No,
unless
because she
I
wanted
just
it to be
missed
the lead single.
Yeah, so did it not end up a single at all? Is that what
No,
we're saying?
I don't think so.
Right. Thoughts, feelings?
Mariah and Jermaine Dupri fall into this pocket when they work together. Like, it is just a perfect synchronicity. I love the melody of this, the layered vocals. Like, it is just wall to wall Mariah, this song. Like, it is like Mariah's here, Mariah's there, she's singing the lead, she's singing, like, just all Mariah. Like, there's a lot of Mariah. I mean, I love the production.
She's even Jermaine. It's
She's
fine.
even Jermaine Dupri when he's whinging at her. But yeah, I'm sad that it wasn't a single, because I really, this is one of those songs that I feel like if people heard outside of the album, you would go, oh, Mariah can do that. That is great. This is really impressive. But yeah, as I said before, like, I think there are so many great parts to this album that And I wonder if maybe because the album is so kind of cohesive, that's why it was hard to pull singles out of it. But I think this could have been a single. But I really like this song. I love just there is so much Mariah. Like it is.
Like, it's almost like it's her album.
No, but like, sometimes, it's like there's a lot of rap guests or there's a lot of, heavy production, but the production in this is, let's just make it more Mariah. We'll just get some Mariah to pad out the song.
To extra. You know what though? That's the thing. If it was a single, they may have ended up doing features and might have taken away from some of that.
Yeah, maybe.
This was one where I thought lyrically it sounded very real. Like, as in, not the real that we joke about.
No, the
actually
other real.
Actually, it felt like a real fear of a real relationship, not a fantasy, like as she's talked about a lot of her earlier stuff. And that still kind of hits, but it does feel like, oh, this could be anything. Whereas this one, I'm like, oh, she's talking about a real person. Like, this is something that's actually happened to her. I did write the guitar is a choice, not one I'd have made, as much as I like rock Mariah.
I like the guitar.
I don't know. I think it was just a little like, what? What's happening?
It turns up a couple of times on this album, the guitar.
It does. I think I was struggling with this one because it was hyped up.
Yeah.
So I was expecting it to be like, wow, and it just didn't quite get there for me. So I wrote, I didn't mind it. It's okay. But on first listen, I didn't quite think it would be lead single worthy.
Right.
But it is a decent album track.
Yeah.
This is just first listen, having known Through the Rain since then.
Yes.
So I don't know. It could change, but it got a lower score than some of the other songs. Still decent. It's a 3.75 out of 5.
Oh, okay.
Which is still a good score.
Well, for me,
in my head,
it's great, but it's only just on the cusp of infinity. So it's a 5 and a bit.
Yeah, I love that 5 to you is like the lowest score.
It's not.
Could possibly.
Wait, we're going to get some low scores.
Oh, okay. Some LO scores. All right, I'm curious. It'd be really funny though. Because it's,
there is an LO score coming. Don't you worry about that.
Wow. It's funny because I feel like most of my scores, I'm just looking ahead, are fairly consistent.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if there's got to be one that like, I'm like, first listen, I loved it. And you'll be like, oh,
no, I hate this one.
Okay. On to yours, which is a first listen. Mariah, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, and Big Jim Wright.
My favourite.
Supposedly, I wonder if you know this, supposedly meant to be a duet with Justin Timberlake, which he did record. But one of the companies he worked for, I believe Jive, allegedly pulled the plug due to the reception of Glitter.
Oh, controversial.
Interesting.
Controversial.
And then not long after, he threw Janet Jackson under a bus. Anyway.
He did. And Britney. Threw Britney under a bus. Under a double denim bus.
It's fine. I'm a boy. I can get away with everything.
Cheated on Jessica Biel, one of the most beautiful women in the world. Even I would have a crack at
Would ya?
Yeah.
I've
worked with her. She is a delight.
Oh, what did you work with her on?
That same thing with Ryan Reynolds, the opening of the Blade Trinity.
God. Oh, I couldn't get into the Seventh Heaven. So
I no.
Knew much of the Beal. The Beelzebub, as I call it.
Beelzebub.
It's their child's name.
Seventh Heaven is dead to us because the pastor was...
oh, my God, I know.
Proper creepy priest.
Oh, my goodness. And for some reason, do you know the song Rhythm of Life?
From the musical Sweet Charity.
Is it? The Rhythm of Life is a wonderful beat? To feel the rhythm of life, to feel the powerful beat. Yeah. The mum on that sang it to one of their many, because they had more kids, I think. Like there was like 11 in the end.
You know, Sweet Charity is a musical about prostitutes. That is an odd choice.
Is it?
For that gaudy family.
Is it though?
We had to learn the Rhythm of Life at primary school.
Did you really? I think I did a dance to it.
So problematic.
Because I remember the tingle in my fingers.
Yeah.
And my tingle in my feet.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one, you'll like this opening line. This also gives me more tolerable Underneath the Stars vibes.
Oh.
like a similar sentiment without making me cringe a little. Though a 3.5 minute edit wouldn't have been the end of the world.
Oh, that's right. You hate the long songs, and I love them.
But I will say at the very end, the whistles of Amazing
Yes.
might be one of her best whistles ever.
Yeah.
Because I was checked out
Amazing.
and I was like, oh, hang on. Maybe I'll check back in.
So
Because it was just, it wasn't just like I'm squealing.
yeah.
And it wasn't just like I'm squealing a word. It was like I'm going to squeal and melody it.
Yeah.
And I was saying lots of words and I'm going to do it for a while. So
Yeah.
I was into the whistle moment.
This song for me feels reminiscent of Bliss from Rainbow. Remember the one with all the squeals?
Yeah, which I think was the last one that I said was a more
It's Underneath
tolerable
the
Underneath the
Stars.
Stars.
And I feel like this whole album, I don't know if it's because of the Capri thing or if it's because, you know, it's coming after some difficulties in her personal life, but it feels like Rainbow 2.0, but just a much better version of Rainbow, if that makes sense.
It's definitely, yeah. I know it's a more consistent.
Yeah, like it feels like a more cohesive
sound.
version of Rainbow.
And it doesn't feel like there's 100 different producers. Like I feel like
No.
Rainbow felt like there's a bunch of different producers.
Even though there are
happening.
100 different producers on this.
Yeah,
you know what I think that is? I think that's Mariah putting her foot down and going, I am also a producer, so you will listen to me.
Yeah.
I love the 70s slow jam vibe of it. Like, you can imagine this being a Rose Royce song or a Minnie Riperton or and again, and this is one of my favorite things about this album and possibly why the other Lamely love it is wall-to-wall layered vocals. So much Mariah. It's Mariah singing with Mariah and Mariah.
To the power of Mariah.
To the power of Mariah, to the power of Mariah. It's and yeah, as you say, that whistle at the end is amazing.
Yeah, no, it was. I was like, I think this might be her best squeal.
Yeah.
Of possibly, at least thus far.
And I feel like she's
let's hear for
gotten more control over her higher register as she's gotten older. Like I feel like normally that's the one that goes with female singers, but I feel like
it's funny.
she's
Different voices are different. Like Madonna has no high anymore at all. It's quite deep. But then KM is the opposite.
Yeah.
Higher and higher as time goes on.
Yeah.
But it can, I think, I mean, Mariah's vocal cords are insane. So
Yeah. The vocal
it can
cords,
depend.
darling.
It can, yes, it can depend on, I think, literally the size of the person. And
Yes.
therefore the size of their vocal cords.
Well, she is nearly 6 feet tall, so there's a lot of Mariah.
She's got the range.
Mariah's got the range.
So I gave this one a 4.25. How are you feeling?
I give this lay affinity. Because I love them layered vocals so much.
Really curious as to what you don't like now, like as we go through.
Find out.
All right. Next track, You Got Me, First Listen for Me, which features JZ and Freeway, written by Mariah, JZ, Freeway, and Just Blaze. This song, interestingly, it came about with Just Blaze after Mariah heard their work on Oh Boy, so Cameron's song.
Yeah.
And so I believe that they did this song. So Mariah was like, oh, I like what you did there. Let's write our own song.
Yeah.
Wrote their own song. And then we're like, actually, can we just remix that other one as well?
Yeah.
And then Cameron took a minute because there was like a money thing where he was like, I want to make sure, which Mariah understood.
Yes.
That, I don't want no photocopy of a contract. And then they got him to actually be on it.
Yeah.
So that was fun. I was like trying to, because they were saying remake of the song that's already on there. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, Mariah said, I love that song that I just did. Can we remake that for the same album? I would like to put that on my own album that isn't out yet with the song that it's all repeating. I don't know. Weirdly, the part where Mariah comes in, just that first bit after, is it Freeway's verse? Yeah, Freeway's verse. It was going into Shaggy's Love Me, Love Me. Do you remember that song?
Yes.
Like, ooh, boy, I want you so. Never ever gonna. Yeah. I was like, for some reason, there was something Mariah did. And then I was suddenly wanting to hear Mariah do that song. Which, weirdly, was actually a song with Janet Jackson. That exact song for How Sella Got Her Groove Back. And then when Shaggy had his first album or maybe just the big album, had to redo it with someone else and then release it. Like it's a whole thing. So I don't know
so
whether
much
it was
of that
a
whole thing.
label.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was apparently released as a single for How Stella Got Her Groove Back and with Janet, but not her in the video.
Right.
And then when he had the It Wasn't Me album, suddenly it was a different person sounding exactly like Janet.
Very peculiar.
But now Mariah needs to do that. Anyway, that's a different song.
Different song.
How do you feel about the two verses from the guys?
I really like these. Like I think I like Jay-Z better. Like I think he delivers a more kind of cohesive rap. But I don't mind Freeway's bit. I feel like this is a fun song. The chipmunk processing is hilarious. I can't believe we've got that on more than one song on this album. It's like, let's make everyone sound like the Chipmunks. Okay.
Hooray. Yeah.
But I like the guest raps are like they're fun. Like they're, sometimes in a Mariah song, the guest rap will sometimes come in and feel like a weird, angry energy while she's being melodic. And it's like this weird contrast. But I feel like these two are just like, no, we're having fun with Mariah. This is fun shit.
See, it's funny. The reason I asked was because I quite liked Freeways. Wasn't loving the Zeds.
That's weird.
I think I've heard better from him.
Oh, yeah. He's...
And I did find out that I think
and
they
better
were
from
already
him
working on the
her
song.
songs.
Yeah. And I think they were working on the song and Jay-Z heard it and was like, oh, I want to jump on that. So maybe it was just because it was a little last minute, which maybe that's the same reason you liked it, because it was just sort of urgent. It was just there.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't know. I was sort of like, oh, that really?
I like both of them because it does feel like this feels like fun. Like, and that's another thing with this album. Like a lot of it feels quite upbeat, because so many of her albums have been, full of ballads that are potentially depressing. Having so many upbeat numbers on this album is great fun. But yeah, like I feel like, none of the songs on this album, this one included, does not feel like a single. But it feels like...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I love where it sits on the album. Like, it's just come out of kind of a slow jam and you've gone, right, we're ramping up the tempo, and then after this we're heading into some belty territory. So it's like perfectly placed. Like, I don't think it's the best song on the album, but it's the best song for this place on the album.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Kinda. Yeah.
Because it's fun, it's silly, it's, and like Boy, it has a very similar, kind of vibe to it with those cutesy vocals being sampled.
So, what is your score?
I think maybe 4.5.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I went for a 4.
Yeah.
So somehow that means you scored lower than I did. By our weird kind of logic.
A weird maths.
All right, on to the next track. I Only Wanted First Listen for Me, which was written by Mariah and Lionel Cole. Mm-hmm. My first line says, Spanish meets Young and the Restless. That was...
What does that mean?
So, okay, this was an interesting one because I really like the verses, but I didn't find that the chorus took off in the way I wanted it to. I was
yeah.
We're still on the runway. But I did write that it could be because I was expecting a My All moment. But that didn't happen. But weirdly, it also reminds me of Jessica Simpson's Irresistible. I don't know why. But I was reminded of that song.
That is a strange callback.
Yeah. I was reminded of that song recently. I was like, I forgot that existed. And maybe that was all. But yeah, I don't know. I was a little bit bummed out because at first I thought, oh, this might be a favourite. Yeah. Like when at first I was like, ooh. But I kind of think that the track is better than the melody, Don't Shoot Me. But it does lift a lot towards the end, I did say.
Yeah. I reckon if you heard this at the same age or time that you heard When I Saw You or one of those early ballads, you would you would be like all over this one because it has.
And
it
look,
feels
it
like
could
it
still
ticks
happen.
a lot of the boxes. like you say,
Sure.
it does feel like with that acoustic guitar that we're heading into my old territory.
Yeah.
And I do think she does rein in the big notes. Like there are some big notes in here, and there is some, but I feel like she's more playful with her vocals than she would be in a normal ballad, and that I kind of appreciated because I'm like, well, we've got Through the Rain, we've got on this album her already going, this is what I do. I do big belty key changes, and I'm amazing at it. But here it's like, no, I can muck around. Like when she's singing along to the guitar line, like that is a really cute moment. And also she, I've talked about before where she has the top register and then she has her mid-range voice that she's really powerful with, but she very rarely uses that, kind of soprano voice.
Yes,
and she gets to use that a little bit here. And I really appreciate it. It's got a lot more, I feel like she's got a lot more texture in this, and having those big belt moments would probably pull away from that, would probably detract from...
I don't think it's so much the vocal. I think there was a better melody waiting to be found.
You know what I don't
somewhere
like?
in there that I was like, it's not there.
I don't like some of the production elements. Like, I don't like the crashing waves of the ocean. I don't know.
I love it.
Yeah, I
love a
I'm not
wave.
into it. Yeah, I'm fine for that when I'm going to sleep, when I want my white noise, but not in my Mariah song. I just yeah. But she's like her voice is so amazing here. I just kind of forgive little things like that in this song.
Sure. And look, on another listen, I may get used to what I'm hearing. I just think somewhere in there, I was like, I think, because I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like when you hear a track and it's sort of nicely, well made. This one, like I said earlier on, I was like, ooh, there's so many ways that you could go with it.
Yeah.
There's so many melodies to find. And I think she found an okay one, but I'm like, I think she could have found another one that would have leveled it up even more.
No, I love this one because I love that it's like she goes from very low and then just climbs all of a sudden really highly. Like, it's like bang, bang, bang. I'm going through 3 or 4 notes to reach this really top part of my voice. And yeah, I really like this one. This is one whenever it comes on, because this is one of those albums that I don't pick songs out and just listen to the song. Like a lot of her albums,
you listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, this is one I'll go from go to woe because I love all of them where they live.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, when this one comes up, I'm like, oh, that's right, this song. I love this song.
This is by Mariah.
Why is the C in here now? It's probably her. She was probably recorded it in her bath, which is the ocean.
Yeah, the ocean, absolutely. All right, so I gave this one a 4 out of 5. What was your score?
Oh, this gets infinity because it's just because of that. She does so much singing. Like she uses her entire vocal range at some point in the song.
Body.
Yeah,
she puts it in there. All right, next track, Clown, which is first listen. Mariah, Andre Harris, and I thought when I first read it, it said Viola Davis, and I got really excited. But it's Vidal Davis. So I've written this. This is from an article. So some have assumed that the song is directed at Eminem, who has suggested he dated the singer. But Kerry dryly notes, I've known a lot of clowns. I've known a circus full of them. Listen to the song. We never even touched each other. Bozo knows exactly who he is. Bloody Bozo.
Bozo knows exactly who he is.
So at first, without knowing that background,
yes,
before I listened to the song, I thought it was going to be sort of like about an embarrassing moment that Mariah had where she felt like a clown. Like, oh my God, I said something embarrassing. Oh, how, or I only had one of my hair fans, not both, turned on when I spoke to that person.
That would be horrible. She was having one of her method hair days.
Yeah. But as soon as she started singing, I was like, oh, I immediately know who the clown is, darling.
Oh. The lyrics are so pointed.
Yeah.
Like it is just so like,
That's right. Bozo.
Bozo knows who he is. So is that article her saying that she and Eminem did do the deed? Because
No, it's her saying that we never even touched. Like, she's basically saying, listen to the song, we never even touched. Like, that's my answer.
Yeah.
I did not. We did not.
Yes.
Listen to the song.
And DeBrant
I think
does
it was
say that he finished before he got close to getting anywhere near. He completed the deal before he had opened the door.
I just don't see that person as a sexual being.
No.
Like, I've never...
No.
So I'm like, no, that's weird.
Well, if he's finishing off before he even starts, then... But, like, just the lyrics about, the horrible stories you tell that you've probably told 1,000 times. Like,
Yeah.
you're just like, oh, this is... Like, and also because the lyrics feel so pointed, I feel like she's giving an even more gutsy vocal performance. Like, I feel like she's gone, I'm investing this with probably more than it requires, but here I go. And you know what? Like, I love that so much in this song. There's very little production. If you listen to it, there's very little production other than the Casio being turned on in the background for a beat, and, and like the melody is just her voice. So much of the background is her voice. Like, she's kind of like built this song just out of her singing. Like her voice is every instrument almost, and it's such a
Mariah Ian would be thrilled.
Mariah Ian
with
loves
that.
this.
No, I did. I wrote about this one as well, that the lyrics feel very present and very
Yes.
real, not a fantasy.
No.
This is happening. This is a real person that I'm singing about. Don't know who they are, but their name's Bozo.
Never even
So I wrote that.
I wish I'd
It's
never even
not
given you my
an
motherfucking two-way.
Right? And I was like, I assume that's like some kind of phone.
A two-way was a
switch.
pager that you could kind of
Yeah.
send each other texts on, sort of thing.
Right. Okay. So I wrote that it doesn't feel like an instant classic, but I do like its pointed nature. And it's a rare example where Mariah keeps it short and sweet, ending it just before you get over it.
Yes.
It's like, I'm gonna pull back. Because this for 7 minutes, no, thank you.
No.
But no, I'm just like a cheeky 3.5, whatever it goes for. It's what it is. I said what I needed to say.
Yeah.
Listen to the song.
Yeah.
So what is your score for Bozo?
Oh, it's Bozofinity, mate. It's primo, this song. Like, it's just, again, it's where it sits in the album. You just come out of like a ballady song and you get, this.
Yeah, it definitely is its own thing, and it kind of it reminds me of something like Ex-Girlfriend.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, this is something different. Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I went for a 4, but it's one I remember as well. So I
Yeah.
feel like it's one I could go back and be like, oh, yeah, this one again. I remember you.
Yeah. Goes around,
next
comes back
track-
around, mate.
That's
Don't
it.
worry about that.
Next track, My Saving Grace, First Listen for Me, written by Mariah, Kenneth Crouch, Randy Jackson, and Trevor Lawrence, which is one of the Lawrence brothers. In my head. Maybe it's their dad. Joey, Matt, the other one, and Trevor. Okay. So this one, I wrote, for some reason, I think probably because of the book, I was like already kind of aware of it. I really would have liked to hear the intro as a full church moment.
Yeah.
Like, straight to Jesus. And then I was like, oh, it's a ballad. Wasn't, like, I don't know. There was something, I was like, it started somewhere and then I was expecting it to go big. And I was like, oh no, it's slowing down. But I feel like I didn't know how I felt about that. But then again, as Mariah tends to do, anytime I'm a bit unsure, she's like, I'm going to bring this home.
Yes.
Don't worry. I know that maybe it went a little off the rails. I was racing Bianca at the time. But I've just knocked her off and I can steer this ship back on track. And so that's sort of, I don't know. Again, maybe it was because it was mentioned in the book, the expectations were a little too high on my part. So just blame me. Blame it all on me. Anytime I don't like a song, it's my fault.
It is.
What do you think? How do you feel?
You know, I love it when Mariah goes to church. Although this song actually, like, even though it has kind of like vocal gospel trappings, it feels more bluesy. It feels like a more
like getting it in my ear for a second. Yeah, no, because I agree, and that's where I was like, oh, I almost wanted her to go even further.
Yeah.
And like go almost like it's like do the blues for a second and then raise that Jesus roof.
Yeah, because she doesn't go quite full gospel, but it does have a very gospel feel to it. But it does feel more bluesy than gospel. And you know what? I am here for Mariah vocally trying to touch God up in the clouds with her voice at the climax of the song. Like she does not disappoint when she's like, yeah, is it blues? Is it gospel? You know what it is? It's motherfucking Mariah. Yeah. I'm going to scream until I touch Jesus. Oh my God. And that, like, the last 30 seconds of this song is worth the entire journey.
Yeah, I did say thank God it picked up at the end because I was worried.
Yeah.
But Mariah, she knew what she was doing. She's like, it's fine. I'm taking it. We're getting to Jesus, don't you worry.
Yeah. Because you could, and that's where that's kind of where the gospel-y stuff comes in, is like giving me peace, like all of that. But yeah, it's a weirdly kind of schizophrenic song in that, but she just goes for it at the end, which I adore, and would forgive.
And I think
every
sometimes
time.
the title, My Saving Grace, like there's something about, I get, like hearing the song, I was like, oh, I get what she's saying. Yeah. And I think from memory, it was something about that being a songwriter, that's her saving grace. Like during the glitter time, I'm pretty sure that's what she was talking about. Yeah. That making music is her saving grace as well as the other saving grace. But all it makes me think of is the Emma Bunton album, My Happy Place, which just makes me cringe slightly because... I mean, I love a bit of Baby Bunton. But when you have not had an album for like 15 years and you're like, I'm finally putting one out. I've been waiting for it, and it's called My Happy Place.
My Happy Place.
There's 19 covers on it.
It's about the songs I sing when I'm in the toilet.
Yeah. And there's something about it like my Cuzzy Wuzzy.
My Cuzzy Wuzzy.
Cuzzy Fizzy. So I gave this one a 4. We're saying consistent. Don't worry.
Yeah.
What is your score?
Look, this one's on the cusp. It's not quite an infinity because it, like, even though it has all the elements I want, like you say, there is something just a little bit not, like, doesn't hit the mark until we get, she brings it home, and you're like, oh, yeah. I see why you've been holding back all this time. You've been preparing us for this.
Next song, you had your chance. First Listen From Me by Mariah Jamesh, Brian Michael Cox, and Leon Haywood. I didn't really have to write too much about this one. I simply wrote that there's more melody to sink my teeth into, and one of the most instantly likable tracks. Mm-hmm. And you're going to hate it. This is your 2.
This is probably the weak spot on the album.
Interesting. Yeah, I need to hear it again now in the back of my head.
I just feel like it's not bringing anything new. Like every song before it has brought something new, like something interesting, whether that be JZ or, the blues or the gospel or whatever it is. This one, just like the lyrics are great, which I love. Like that whole kind of idea of like, yep, I gave you a go and you you did not appreciate Mama Mariah.
I tried the regular version, I tried the peanut version and the crispy, and it was all shit.
Yeah. Again, like every track on this album, the layered vocals are giving me so much joy because, again, it's wall-to-wall Mariah and it's amazing. But, I feel like every other song on this album and on Rainbow, for that matter, uses these devices to better effect. I feel like, the melody's great, but I just feel like there's, and it's weird because, JD and Mariah work so well together normally, but I feel like this one is just one where it's like, I feel like the one does everything this song tries to do 3 times better.
I'm just thinking about the score I gave that one versus the score I gave this one.
Again, I don't hate it because it's got a lot of Mariah going on.
So
you know what
I
it
will
also
give my
reminds me
score.
of
Hang on.
is what's that one on Rainbow that you hated? Did I do that?
That was not a good song.
And I feel like
It could have been good, and it wasn't.
I feel like this has the same kind of deal. It's the same kind of like wrenching back and forth, and it's a little bit like it just feels like the same song, but
It's funny because in a few, I don't want to sort of spoil anything, but at some point in the album, I kind of get a little tired because there's a little bit of sameness
Yeah.
going on. Possibly because it's the first time hearing it, I hadn't reached that yet. But because you know the album as a whole,
and I know
this is where you can pinpoint that to.
This is the one where I go, this is just the same. We've had this one's already on this album. Why did you put it on twice?
So, are you, to tease it, is this the least favourite song off the album, or is there something worse to come?
It might be, yeah, I think so.
Right, we'll
I
see
mean,
what happens.
because we are going to do some tracks that aren't from this album
True.
that are going to get some really bad scores.
All right. Because that's what I was like. I feel like there's bad score coming, but this may not be the one to make the moment of. So for me, I gave this, I enjoyed it. I gave it a 4.25.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I gave it a
this
1.5.
No, this gets a 4. Because again, layered vocals, mate. Like it's
Yeah.
the house that Mariah built is very hard to tear down.
That's it.
Like if it was just her and some of this, you know,
Sorry. All I can
just-
think of is the house that Patricia built, though. Blew over.
my house. But yeah, I feel like, you know, if she'd used someone else to do the background vocals, I'd probably be like, nah, you're only getting a
How
2 or
dare.
3. But because there's so much of her gorgeous, lush voice going on, it elevates it higher than it really needs to be.
All right. So 400 to 4.25. Yes, cool. Next track, Lullaby. First listen for me by Mariah, Viola Davis, and James Harris.
Viola Davis.
What are your thoughts, feelings? Give it to us.
This song jams in my head like none other on the album. Like it just, I feel it. The looping vocals and beats are probably the sexiest Mariah has ever been.
Oh, hang on, let me. It's always nice to hear it at the back when I can't remember.
Yeah. Like in the past, you know, she's flirted with her sexuality. She's alluded to there having been something sexual going on. But I don't think
Maybe, I
she's
don't know.
ever sung her way through a sexy moment. And this feels
Sure.
like a song with grunt in it. Like this feels like a song that
Sorry, with what? Sorry.
grunt. Like she's kind of like this feels like the vocal version of a very slow hip thrust. Like it's very, you know, it just feels very sexy Mariah. And I don't think we've had kind of show pony, look at me, I've got the trappings of sexy Mariah. But I feel like this is like, oh no, I've done it.
Yeah.
I know how it works.
I've touched genitals with other genitals.
I've had some sweet vitamin D, mate. I know exactly how this shit works, and it feels and it's weird that it's like it's lullaby because the lullaby is, you know, you're singing someone to sleep, and it's like I am not getting any sleep tonight.
Even though I wish, I got to get me some.
Got to get me some
else.
sleep.
Gotta give me some tea.
But yeah, I love the looping vocals, like the kind of back and forth and it's very, and it's one of those songs that I forget about until I hear it again.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when I'm not listening to the album, this is the song that's kind of like going through my head. Because even though her voice she's not doing big Mariah, like it's quite sweet the way her vocals are being used. But there's just something... Yeah, there's something really sexy about it.
So I think it's funny, like this always happens as we discuss things. And
Yes.
I listen back and I go, sometimes I think because of like just listening to it then in the back of us talking, I was like, this is quite nice. Like I do like what she's doing. I think sometimes when you've got a lot of 5-minute songs
Yes.
on a long album,
Yep.
I start to get a little bit impatient. So
Yes.
I don't always allow that sexy feeling. You know, I'm like, I don't feel sexy, Mariah. I'm tired. I have a headache.
I don't have time for you grinding up on my leg with your voice. Stop it.
So I sort of don't always pick up on these things. So it's just interesting hearing you say that as I'm like, oh yeah, I did like the Melt Away reference. That was the first thing, which is a similar thing. It's a little sexy. But I did sort of think it's an example of a song that would have been a really great 3.5 minute song. I don't know if
you and your time Naziness.
But
when you're having sex, you want it to go as long as possible.
I was going to say, bringing it to sexy time. I'm like, oh, now I get it. I thought I was just at the kitchen bench chopping veggies.
Yeah, no.
And I was like, next.
Yeah.
But no, we took the veggies to the bedroom.
No, this isn't sorting yourself out in the shower in 2.5 minutes.
I can't. I'm not a shower person. I mean, as in, I do have showers,
but you don't sully the experience.
I don't feel. I'm busy. I've got
a friend
clean.
who only will do that in there because he doesn't want to have to clean it up. I mean, it's like it's gone.
Oh my god! Well, that's why you get someone else's mouth. Anyway,
hey, there she is. There's the dirty bitch. I brought it to life with my explanation of what lullabies are really all about.
I'm a virgin. I'm a beautiful, delicate flower.
It's just so up and down. Like it's like, oh yeah. I don't know how you missed it. Like, it feels like she's singing the song while doing it.
At this point, I've been in lockdown for the longest lockdown in the history of life, and I've forgotten what any of that is.
That's true.
So,
I totally
I might, the first time I rediscover it, I might be Eminem in it, you know?
Yeah.
I might have to have a shower moment.
Oh, you're going to bozo all over your trousers.
Oh no, let's move away from that. So look, I think and the trilogy will sort of finish with the next song of what I'm talking about. But for now, I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Oh, yeah, no, this gets Gruntfinity. And you know what? In years past, like I reckon 10 years ago, I would have kind of not really given that much of a crap about this song. I would have been like, oh yeah, it's all right. But just now I feel like, I don't know, like I hear something in it I've never heard before, and I don't think I've ever heard that sexuality before until this
and here you're telling me I don't know how you missed it.
Well, exactly. Because I hadn't read her book before, and also, you know, she's been quite sexy for the last, you know, a couple of decades. It's been like, look at all of this. Whereas, you know, up until this point, we've had, you know, the string bikini and Heartbreaker, which is like, no, I might be sexy. You don't know. And she's kind of, you know, around this time was sort of, you know, there's still the hangover of all those years where she was strapped into a gingham blouse.
I can confirm that somewhere down this list of songs, there's an entire bosom that is out. So by the end of the album, she's arrived.
Yes. So like but again, it's like I really enjoy this song way more than I ever have before.
Did you give it Infinity? I forget.
I gave it Gruntfinity.
Gruntfinity, that's right, you did. Okay.
At the end of the podcast, baby. Almost there, almost home. You could probably say, but you won't because of copyright. That's a no.
Oh, we're coming home. I feel like
my grace has been saved.
Yes, that was a big ending to a song, and I think we need a rest of it, maybe about an entire week before we move on with the rest of it. Like, this must be a 4 vinyl thing if this is on vinyl.
Oh, for sure.
Like, there's so many songs.
I feel like from here on out, I don't think there's any songs except for Caution. I think that's 10 tracks, but every other album is like
400 songs.
They're whoppers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll be back and continuing our plow through Mariah's Charmbracelet, which we've shattered into pieces. We're going to have to put back together, and she's going to be very,
Oh,
very
no, because that's what's
upset
keeping her
with
young.
I know.
It's the Charmbracelet of youth. Otherwise, she's going to be old like Stacey Lynn Siegler.
or Pat. All right. Next week, another episode of this Charmbracelet. There's a lot of songs left to go.
There's a lot of songs.
All right. We'll see you soon. Bye, Lamely.
Bye.